I am Will Hesketh and this is Functional Yoga. As always, make some space to practice, make time to practice so that you can be present in the moment, which means removing distractions so that you can just be focused on yourself, on what you're doing. Be as playful as you can, don't take it too seriously. Be as grateful as you can be towards yourself, for yourself, and be as compassionate as you can be towards yourself as well. Just remember, if you're breathing, you're amazing because you have a life and that is incredible in itself. So it doesn't matter how you're feeling in your mind, doesn't matter what you think of yourself, you are amazing because you are alive and you're breathing. This week we're going to be focusing on the arms. As always, it's not just the arms, it's the whole body in relation to the arms because it has to be, because we are a whole body. We're going to get nice and warm into the shoulders. We're going to do the same warm-up for both of these two sessions this week because it's a really helpful warm-up for the shoulders, and the more you can get into doing this, the better. It feels great. As you inhale, just gently shrug the shoulders up, and as you exhale, just gently relax them down. Really nice and simple to start with. Inhale, shrug them up. Exhale, relax them down. Let's do two more. And one more. Now let's try swinging the arms gently forwards and backwards. And just let it happen, see how it feels. Nice and mellow, nice and relaxed. Whenever you're ready, we're going to try one forwards, one backwards. See how that feels. So gently, one forward, one back. Let that little bit of swing happen and just feel your way through that action. And then we're going to do some internal, external rotation. So let those arms come back to to still, and then rotate the palms outwards, rotate all the way inwards. So it's not just the palms that, the palms feels like the natural way to describe it, but really they're facing outwards there as well, and my shoulders internally rotated. So think about what the shoulder's doing, rotating outwards with the shoulder all the way down to the wrist and the hand. So really feeling your way into that internal and external rotation. And just remembering that you've got movement here at the glenohumeral joint, so where the upper arm meets the shoulder joint. We've got rotation there with the rotated cuff, and that's the smaller sort of movement. And then we've got the bigger movement that comes from the shoulder blade as well. So just experiment with the two. There's no right or wrong in terms of how you should move your arm, but if you're doing small movements with your shoulder blade, then maybe there's a bit of restriction in this detailed section of the shoulder. So really just see if you could hold your shoulder blade still and just move using the rotator cuff area. See how that feels. And then see if you could do one out and one in. One to the other. So gliding through, you might start to turn towards the hand as you go, looking at that palm that's facing up. Feeling your way into that. This is multi-purpose because you can be the coolest person in the club when you go and rock these moves. Maybe not. Maybe just keep it to the privacy of your own home. Okay, and relax when you're ready. A little bit of a shake out again. And then we're going to just look a little bit more specifically at this front and back movement. So just want to do it like a running action. So as we take the arm backwards when we run, ideally the palm starts to turn backwards. We get that little bit of backwards push. So one arm would come forwards, palm would just be facing towards the center line of the body, and then we change. So just feeling your way through as you gently push that palm backwards. Keep the shoulders as broad as possible across the top, across the front, and across the back of the shoulders. So really nice and wide, tall through the spine, feeling your abdominal muscles engaged to create this rotation. And then now we're going to take it at that stage further and take it to a bit of a sort of throwing arm. So we still come back a little bit, so we come back in the same way, but once we get to a certain point, we gradually start to turn the palm up as we come back, and then we come back round. So turning the palm up as you come back, starting to bring that kind of as though you're about to go into a throw. So just gently turn it and bring it around. If you want to go into that throw, you can go into that throw, but make sure your shoulder feels nice and comfortable. Don't force it, and try not to elbow the wall as I'm doing here. Take it nice and steady. So just gently taking that arm back, rotating out, bringing it up and bringing it over. Or just doing the rotate out and back. Really nice. Fantastic. So regardless of what's happening as you're doing that, you're still getting good nourishing movement into the shoulder, so don't worry too much about the details on that. It'll start to come hopefully as you do it more often and you start to feel what's going on. Now as we move on, we're going to just look a little bit more in detail at alignment of the shoulder. So just bring your hands out in front of you and just have them in line with your shoulders. Have your elbows in line with your shoulders. So they're tucked into the side of the body, but they're not pulling into the side of the body. So they're not touching the side of the body, but they're very close. From there, we're just going to see if we could sit the bum down and back a little. And then just arch and tuck a couple of times into that lower back. So you might need to put your hands on to feel that, and that's fine. Just gently inhale, arch, exhale, tuck. Feel your way through the movement of the pelvis and that arch and flatten out of the lower back. Get to the point where your lower back feels fairly flat. It's not rounded in either direction. There's maybe a subtle curve. Okay, make sure it is subtle though. So the abdominal muscles are engaged, the arms come back to where they were, and now we reach them up and forwards without deviating from that line. So elbows stay shoulder width, hands stay shoulder width as you reach those arms up and forwards. And then maybe we push up onto the tiptoes and bring ourselves all the way up into this reach here and bring it back down slowly. So now imagine you're picking something up off the floor slowly, and you have to squeeze it between the elbows a bit as well as you reach it up and throw it up and over your head. Slowly to start with. So imagine it in slow motion to start with. Feel that action, using those glutes, using those feet, everything working. So as you come down to here, now think about all the back line of the body, right down through the glutes, the hamstrings, all of that fires up and it starts to pull the pelvis. Then you need the lower back muscles, then you need the mid back muscles, the upper back muscles, as you reach up and reach those arms up and back. So you can start to take it a little bit quicker. Lifting up, make sure the abdominal muscles stay involved on the front of the body so that we don't just lift up and arch into that lower back too heavily. Abs are still involved, so as you're coming up, you should feel the abs pull you back down. So you're throwing something up and then you use the abs to stop you from going too far, getting sort of springy with the muscles, feeling the front and back line of the body working against each other. Now for me, I know that I'm quite rounded in my upper back, so I have to work on really using those upper back muscles and extending the chest without losing control down here and just flaring the ribs forwards. It may be different for you, but see how it feels. Just see if you can imagine your whole back working or your whole spine moving, all of the muscles supporting and working that spine right the way down the backs and fronts of the legs. So eventually we get to the point where maybe we're even getting a little bit of hip extension as we come up, and those hip flexors are getting lengthened again, they're working, and then quads, hip flexors, abs, pulling us back down, stopping us from going too far, finding that balance. Really great way to warm up, and a really great movement for the spine, as long as you keep it controlled. So we don't want to just be throwing it around. We want to be really keeping that control through the spine. Whenever you're ready, relax. Now we change it up slightly. We're going to go right leg forward, left leg back. It's going to be a little lunge position. So we're going to treat it as though we're going to pick something up off the floor. We're trying to keep the hips in line perfectly with the heels, which are in line with the toes and the knees. Bend those knees a little, bring yourself down. Pull your front leg backwards, pull your back leg forwards. The usual stuff. Keeping engaged abdominal muscles, so no deep arch in that lower back and no round in that lower back. Gently hinging your way forwards. Rotating gently through the spine on the axis of the spine and reaching the arm down as though you're going to grab something off the floor. You don't need to reach the floor though, just try and work on that alignment. You should feel your right bum really starting to work, your right glute really starting to work. And then think about your right glute initiating the action, pulling you up, and you pull that elbow up and back. So it's kind of like you're starting a little more of this action down and then driving your way up. Try and think you're using your whole body as you go. Your other elbow can come up and back as you come down, and then driving your way up, using that whole body as you go. Right up and back, pulling up and back, wide across the shoulders. Keep the abs engaged. There's an awful lot of work in the legs, but we're also training this up and back action of the arm. So hopefully you're starting to get this length into the front of the shoulder here as you reach this arm up and back. Really nice. We're going to change legs. You can always do that through down dog if you want to while we're going down towards the floor, but if you don't fancy that, you can do that through a standing position. If you're doing down dog, just pedal it out a few times and then in your own time, bring yourself up onto the other side. Left leg forward, right leg back. Pull the legs against each other, sit down, keep those legs working, hinge forwards, tall, long spine, rotate on the axis of the spine so you can pick something up. Other elbow comes up and back. Really think about that length in the spine, lifting that chest, and then exhale, drawing it up and bringing it back. So again, that left glute really initiating the action, left glute, left hamstring, you're starting to pull up and then you're using everything right the way across the abs up towards the opposite shoulder as the brakes when you get there. Exhaling as you're pulling up, so you're trying to get that upwards action to be the main action. Getting that spring up and out of it. Really nice. If you want to bring yourself down to down dog, by all means do, and pedal through the backs of the legs. If you prefer to just remain standing and step it out, stay standing and step it out. So wherever you are, just working your way slowly back up to a right leg forward position in that short lunge again. Now, we've done this in a few of the other classes. I teach this an awful lot because it's a great action. Just to recap, pushing into your front leg, keeping your hips level to start with, so you've got that good strong working lunge position. Front knee stays exactly where it is, and then we push out of that front leg and turn the hips away. So as you turn the hips away, this front knee stays where it is as opposed to get pulled across. Really watch that. I know personally myself, I have thought in the past that I've really been keeping it still and I haven't, so it's really worth double checking in the mirror or film it or something like that so you can really check that because it's really helpful for that knee. And we build lots more strength that way because we work this glute as we turn out with the legs. So then, now we've got the leg action going, we're going to start with the arm action. So as we've just done from here, we're not as deep here, we don't need to be as deep. You can do it if you want to, but we draw the elbow back as this heel starts to come back and down, and we turn the hips open out. Then we reach that arm up and back and bring it round the top and back round. So from here, drive into the front leg, heel starts to come down as the arm starts to bring round, turning the arm all the way around and over, and then we get to this position here where we've kind of got inner thigh coming right up towards the inside of the left chest area. So inner right thigh to left chest and shoulder, and it draws round. Just be really careful of the lower back as you're doing this. So push into the foot, turn it out, abs engaged, bringing it round. And as you start to turn around, just be careful that you don't start to hyperextend your lower back. Keep your abs engaged, let that back heel lift and bring it round. You can do it in a much shorter position if you are feeling that your lower back is starting to take a bit too much of the work or the movement. So just gently working through those throwing arms. Take it nice and steady. If it doesn't feel like it's for you going over the top, then just do the bottom bit. You can still do down and back up. Or if you want to, add the over the top action. Okay, we're going to change legs whenever you're ready. If you want to do down dog, by all means step it through. If you prefer to do a standing change, then just do a standing change. So left leg comes forward now. I'll turn around. In that lunge position, remember it doesn't need to be too deep. Bend the knees, hips nice and level. Try not to twist those hips out of alignment. One thing to watch out for is sort of feeling of compression on your left groin. That's a dead sign, a really good sign that this has started to happen. So the hips have collapsed out of alignment and then you've started to get this. So think, push into that front leg and that's your starting point. From there, push and turn the hips out. Bring it back round. Push, turn the hips round, bring it back. So from your lunge, turning out. From your lunge, turning out. Bringing the arm in whenever you're ready. From your lunge, reaching up and bringing it back round. Reaching up, maybe over the top if you want to, up to you. So no need to go over the top if you don't want. Much smaller with the legs if you prefer, just gently feeling your way into it. It is a progressive thing, so if you're tight in your adductors, then if you're way back here and then you're turning out, you're bound to be pulling the knee across because you're turning the hips too far. It's better to start small and just get used to all of the stability that's required to do that. And all those stabilizing muscles will help you to lengthen the adductor over time, but it's not going to happen straight away. So take your time, don't force it. If you're ready and you want to bring that arm over the top, then by all means do, but work the abs to stop that lower back getting over compressed, to stop that shoulder blade feeling like it's drawing down the back too much. Let's go for 4 more. And step it out. Next up, we're gonna go for an addition to what we've just been doing. So, it's the lunge position. We turn out, we reach the arm up and back. No need to go over the top if you don't want to. It can come just back round if you prefer. And we'll go from runner's position as well. So the arms are in this running position. We turn out, we bring that throwing arm round, then we're back here, push into the front leg, bring the back leg through, lift the knee, and step it back. So the new section is this. From the lunge, bring it up and through. So you could try a couple of those first if you want to, trying to keep the hips really central, remembering what we were doing with the arms earlier. Palm facing back on the hand that's pushing back. And then if you want to, throwing arm comes in all the way around and then remember, you don't need to go over the top, so you can just here, just swing out, bring it back. Just deep breath as you're going. Personally, I always like to reset with an inhale and then exhale to move. But then if you start to ramp up the pace on it a bit, it might just be 3 short exhales and then 1 big inhale. So you might go up to you. Whenever you're ready, you're going to change legs, so you can come down through down dog, or you can step it out. Left leg's going to come forwards. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. So, runner's arm position to start with. Push into the front foot, bring the back leg through, lift the knee. From there, step it back and bring it round to that throat. Again, no need to take the arm over the top if you don't want to. Watch that front knee. Remember, as you're turning those hips out, as you're swinging knee, throwing arm back, don't let that knee start to drop in. Bring it over the top if you want to. If there's a point that you're not sure about, in my head, I'm sort of getting to this point and I'm like, right, this is the time to inhale and reset and get wide across the shoulders. So if there's a point where you're starting to feel compressed into your joints and like it's not sort of flowing properly, maybe even getting a click or something like that, just see, could you come towards where the click is or where the discomfort is? Breathe, big breath in, wide across the shoulders, long in the spine, and then see if you can bring yourself through it slowly with an exhale. Feel for that detail. The detail is really where all this stuff really starts to pay off. But it's going to be different for everyone, you know? So you're going to have different movement patterns built up over time. To me, so you're not going to feel the same sort of restrictions and little niggles and stuff like that. So just go nice and steady, feel your way through it. And whenever you're ready, bring yourself down and step it out. Our final standing position is going to be based around revolved triangle, classical yoga position, but it's going to be made into this more functional, we're going to take this more functional approach. So we're going to go right leg forward, left leg back. That means that we're going left arm forwards, right arm back. So that's really natural, it's a natural thing. So feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart, same sort of lunge as normal. So lifting that back heel a little, checking the back foot alignment, really making sure that you're coming off the big toe and not just rolling off the side of the big toe. So you've got that toe, ankle, knee alignment. From there, front leg pulls backwards, back leg pulls forwards. We hinge forwards and we sit down. Lengthen through the spine, nice and tall. Rotate the spine gently and bring the hand towards the floor. So revolved triangle would be here. We're just coming to here, not touching the hand down to the floor, keeping the knees nice and bent. Spine nice and tall and long. Now bring the right elbow back and up, and then see if you could take it right the way up, and then eventually turn the palm out in that nice big shoulder position. So remember, right elbow pulls backwards, broad across the shoulders, long in the spine, keep that tall position, and then eventually rotate outwards, as opposed to just reaching out to the side and getting that sort of little pinch on the back of the shoulder. We're trying to get this upwards, backwards action, and then rotate out, and then from there, you probably feel a much better shoulder position, bigger stretch around the shoulder. Nothing major though, don't force it, only take it to a point where you feel minor stretches. You could look up towards the top hand, or you could keep looking down towards the floor if you want it a bit more relaxed. Try and keep that spine nice and long and tall. Feel your way through it. Try a couple where you come down and then bring the arm back up. Really nice. If your glute starts to burn out, then come back up and step it out for a few moments. Just do a couple more breaths, depending, so you can be holding if you want to, but just be constantly readjusting if you're holding. If the hand needs to come down to the floor for balance, then fine, but then just try and lengthen that spine out again. And relax. Step it out. Same thing on the other side, whenever you're ready. Left leg forward, right leg back. pulling the legs against each other, back leg pulling forwards, front leg pulling backwards, hips level and aligned, up and down, side to side, everything nice and even. And then we hinge forwards as far as we can. Rotate through the spine. So we hinge forwards as far as we can without rounding the spine. Then we rotate the spine on its axis without rounding it. Hand reaches down towards the floor. Don't be tempted to go too far, and then round the back. So good to do this in front of a mirror to check how your spine is. Then whenever you're ready, draw that elbow up and back and push that palm up, and then eventually turn round. So draw it up and back, push the palm up and back, and then eventually turn it round so that the palm is facing forward or out towards, in my case, the camera. So drawing spine nice and long, draw the elbow up and back, push the palm back, and then turn it out once you get up there. So you're really winding that shoulder out, feeling your way into it. So remember, you can hold or you can be switching it on and off. It's up to you. Really feel your way through. If the legs start to burn out, take a break. It's not supposed to be forced, this. I'll show you from this side. So from here, arm comes up and back. Reach the palm back as far as you can, and then you turn the arm into that final position as you would do with revolved triangle, Parivita Trikonasana. So show you from the front one more time. Arm comes up and back, palm pushes all the way back, and then eventually it turns round. Really nice. Let's go for one more. And relax. Step it out and bring yourself down to the mat when you're ready. So once you get down on the floor, just have your feet nice and wide and your shoulders nice and wide, so just walk your arms a bit wider. Have a little shuffle around, and then just very gently see if you could reach one arm out to the side a little bit further, so you maybe feel that your shoulder kind of moves out a little bit wider, and then very gently let the knees go slowly to the opposite side. So I'm doing the left arm and I'm taking the knees slowly to the right, and hopefully you feel just a little bit of stretch on the front of the shoulder. Make sure you don't feel compression on the back of the shoulder, so you need to keep a little bit of effort there just to try and keep that shoulder nice and wide so it doesn't collapse backwards. You can let the head go the opposite side as well. So it's kind of like you're leaving the arm behind as you roll away from it, and you just get that little bit of stretch on the front of the shoulder. Gradually and slowly bring it back to the center. Same thing on the other side, just gently let those knees go over. Reach the arm in the opposite direction. Just allow the front of that shoulder to lengthen. Try and keep the back of the shoulder long as well though, so don't let it compress in. So you're not collapsing the arm. That's what reaching the arm away from you is about. Gradually bringing the knees slowly back to the center, and if that feels like it's the one for you, then maybe stick with it, pause the video, and always make sure to give your fingers a little bit of a wiggle and just check that your fingers are still feeling alive and you've not got pins and needles or anything like that. If you have, just stop. Okay, whenever you're ready, just gradually straightening the legs out, bring yourself flat onto your back. If there's a position that you want to bring yourself into that's more comfortable, you can always do that. Cushions behind the legs, legs up the wall, legs on a sofa, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, all those ones. So we're just trying to be as symmetrical as possible as we lie flat on our backs. And if you want to close the eyes, you close the eyes. If you're not happy closing the eyes, you might be just want to just find something to look at. Maybe semi-close the eyes. Just noticing your body move as you breathe. So the breath will happen automatically. There's no need for us to pay attention to it. So that means the muscles activate automatically. The body moves, the breath comes in, the breath goes out. The diaphragm draws down into your belly area, the rib cage expands. Nice and natural. And you might choose to breathe a little deeper. So continuing the natural breath, but just seeing if you could take it that little bit deeper on both the inhale and the exhale. Feeling the body move, paying attention. Each breath, a new opportunity to pay attention. Maybe just pausing between each breath as well. So as you inhale, you fully inhale. And then just pausing at the top of that inhale. See if you could avoid locking the throat off so there's no sort of restriction of the breath in the throat, any of that, those noises that come in. And when you let go of the breath, it's just smooth, gentle, calm exhale. When you've fully exhaled and you can't exhale anymore, just pause for a moment as long as it feels comfortable. And when you inhale, try not to lean towards it too much, just keep it really nice and mellow. So we're never going to the point where we feel too breathless and we're reaching for that next breath. Noticing any sensations, any sounds. Just being with each breath as it happens. And if you've not done already, just gradually letting that breath come back to natural, completely natural, normal breath, whatever your body does. Not trying to control it. Nothing to do. Just experiencing your natural resting state. Very slowly, very gradually, having a little bit of a move of the face, of the hands, of the feet, fingers and toes. Just gently and slowly moving, starting with small movements, gradually getting a little bit bigger. And if you want to bring yourself back up, take your time, slowly working your way back to a seated position. Keep your eyes closed if you can. from a comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall, letting the chin slowly come down towards the chest. Slowly and gradually opening the eyes. Slowly and gradually bringing the head back up. And we'll finish there. Thanks very much.